Video begins with a stunning close-up of a bonsai tree with prominent, beautifully sculpted white deadwood, contrasting with the green foliage. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our bonsai journey. Have you ever looked at a truly ancient tree, maybe clinging to a mountain cliff or enduring centuries in a windswept field? Have you noticed its beautiful, silvered branches and the peeled bark on its trunk? That look tells a story of survival, resilience, and immense age. What if I told you that we, as bonsai artists, can recreate that profound story on our own trees? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most artistic and transformative aspects of bonsai, the Deadwood techniques of Jin and Shari. So, what exactly are Jin and Shari? Let's break it down. Imagine a branch on a tree is struck by lightning or broken by heavy snow. Over time, the bark peels away, and the sun and wind bleach the exposed wood to a silvery white. This dead, refined branch is what we call a jin in the world of bonsai, a testament to the tree's past struggles. Now picture the trunk of that same ancient tree. Perhaps a large section of bark has peeled away over decades, exposing the heartwood underneath. This longitudinal section of deadwood on the trunk is called Shari. When you see Jin and Shari on a bonsai, you're not just seeing dead wood. You're seeing a carefully crafted illusion of time and history. These techniques are what allow us to take a young, healthy tree and give it the character and gravitas of a centuries-old specimen. It's the art of telling a story without words. Before we grab our tools, it's crucial to understand which trees are suitable for these techniques. Jin and Shari are almost exclusively applied to coniferous trees. Think of junipers, pines, yews, and cedars. Why? Because their wood is naturally resinous and durable. When you create deadwood on these species, the wood can be preserved for many, many years, resisting rot and decay. Trying to apply these techniques to a deciduous tree like a maple or an elm would likely lead to the wood quickly rotting away, which not only looks bad, but can also harm the tree. So the first rule is to choose the right canvas for your art. Junipers, especially varieties like Shimpaku or Iruigawa, are fantastic for practicing because their wood is strong and they respond well to the process. All right, let's get our hands dirty and talk about tools and safety. For creating Jin and Shari, you don't need a huge arsenal, but the right tools make a world of difference. You'll want a pair of Jin pliers. These have a rounded head designed to grip and peel back bark and wood fibers without making clean, unnatural cuts. You'll also need various carving tools. These can range from simple handheld gouges and knives for detailed work to high-speed rotary tools like a Dremel with different carving bits for larger areas. And of course, wire brushes, both steel and brass, are essential for cleaning up the wood and creating a natural texture. Safety first, always. Wear safety glasses to protect your eyes from flying wood chips and dust, and a dust mask is a very good idea, especially when using power tools. Remember, we're working with sharp objects, so take your time and be deliberate with every movement. Let's start with creating a jin. This is often the first deadwood technique beginners learn. Find a branch you want to convert into a jin. It could be a branch that is too long, awkwardly placed, or one you simply want to use to add character. First, shorten the branch to the desired length, but leave it a little longer than your final vision. Now, using your jin pliers, gently crush the bark around the branch. Grip the end of the branch with the pliers and start to pull and twist. The goal is to peel the bark and wood fibers away rather than cutting them. You want to create a tapered, splintered end, just like a branch would break in nature. Don't aim for a perfectly smooth, straight point. Nature is random and beautifully imperfect. Once you've created the basic shape, you can refine it with your carving tools, adding subtle grooves and texture. Now, let's move on to the more dramatic Shari. Creating a Shari involves removing a strip of bark from the trunk to expose the wood underneath. This is a more advanced technique because you're working directly on the main lifeline of the tree. The most important rule is to never, ever remove a complete ring of bark around the trunk. This is called girdling, and it will kill the tree by cutting off the flow of nutrients. Before you cut anything, use a marker to draw the intended shape of your shari. It should flow naturally with the movement of the tree. A good shari often follows a live vein of bark that twists up the trunk, enhancing the tree's sense of movement and struggle. Once you're happy with your design, use a sharp knife to carefully cut along the lines, slicing through the bark and cambium layer. Then use your pliers or a carving tool to carefully peel away the bark within your outline. Be very careful not to damage the live vein you're leaving behind. Once you've carved your jinn and shari, the work isn't over. The next step is refinement and preservation. This is where you bring the deadwood to life. Use a wire brush to clean away any remaining soft tissue and to smooth out any unnatural tool marks. Brushing along the grain of the wood will create beautiful, subtle texturing. You can even use a small torch to lightly burn the wood, which highlights the grain and helps with preservation, but be extremely careful not to scorch the live parts of the tree. The final crucial step is to apply a wood preservative. The most common one in bonsai is lime sulfur. When applied to the dry, clean deadwood, lime sulfur bleaches the wood to that iconic, beautiful silvery white color and protects it from rot and pests. Mix the lime sulfur with water, usually a 50-50 ratio is a good start, and carefully paint it onto the deadwood only. Avoid getting any on the live bark, foliage, or soil. You'll need to reapply it every year or two to maintain that brilliant white color and keep the wood protected. Let's talk about design and aesthetics. Jinn and shari are not just techniques. They are powerful design elements. The key is to make them look believable. Study old trees and nature. Notice how deadwood flows, how it tapers, how it interacts with the live veins. Your deadwood should tell a logical story. For example, a jinn at the top of the tree, the apex, suggests the tree's crown was damaged by wind or lightning. A shari running up the trunk might suggest a long-healed wound from a falling rock or another tree. The deadwood should always complement and enhance the living parts of the tree, creating a dynamic contrast between life and death, strength and fragility. It's a balance. Too much deadwood can overwhelm a tree, while a thoughtfully placed jinn or shari can elevate a simple bonsai into a living sculpture. Remember, bonsai is a long-term art form. Your deadwood will evolve with your tree. Over the years, you can continue to refine it, adding more detail and letting the tree grow around it. The live veins will swell and roll over the edges of the shari, creating a more dramatic and natural look. This interplay between the living and dead parts is what makes aged bonsai so captivating. It's a slow, patient process of collaboration between you and the tree. Don't be afraid to experiment on practice material, and most importantly, have fun with it. Creating deadwood is one of the most creative and rewarding parts of the bonsai hobby. That's our deep dive into the art of jinn and shari. It's a technique that truly bridges horticulture and sculpture, allowing us to imprint a story of age and resilience onto our trees. It takes practice, but with patience and a careful hand, you can add a whole new dimension to your bonsai collection. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this inspires you to look at your trees in a new light and maybe even try creating your first jinn. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more bonsai tutorials and tips. Drop a comment below if you have any questions or want to share your own deadwood experiences. Until next time, happy growing.